welcome to all again for the today's second session. And we have the proud moment that very senior professor, Professor Abhijit Singh from Banaras Hindu University is with us. Professor Abhijit Singh, before joining the Banaras Hindu University, he works in so many different universities. Professor Singh has written many books and published more than 50 papers in very reputed journals of the management. And Professor Singh is well known in the area of management and industry. He is BTech, MBA and PhD. So we are proud that Professor Singh will deliver lecture on developing teams and integrating relationship. Sir, without taking too much time, as the network issue is there, I will request you to start your presentation, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Amit, for your kind words, and a very good afternoon to all the delegates present in this session of the LBP. And today, the topic that Dr. Amit has given me is team building and interpersonal group relationships. So to start the presentation right away, I'll like to share the screen so that you can all have a look at the presentation, and I'll be deliberating upon the different issues that we have to touch in this area.
Visible now. आवाज नहीं आ रही है?
उनका सर्वर नहीं आ रहा है। सर
Issue was brought into the knowledge of Mr. Anand Mahindra. And Mr. Anand Mahindra, as you must have seen his approach to in media on different issues, he's a very soft kind of person. He does not easily get agitated, and he's a very calm individual. So he saw it, and he was pretty younger at that time. So he asked the vice president to relax and let us meet the boys. I mean, what is the issue? It is 1 month or maybe 1 month some days, and these people have resigned. And such bright minds from IIT Kharagpur, what is the reason? So let us have a discussion and some send-off kind of discussion with them before they resign and go, and let us call them for a meeting. This meeting was organized, and these 6 budding engineers, they sat in front of Mr. Mahindra, and Mr. Anand Mahindra said, boys, what is the problem we have? Why such a brilliant team of yours is going to resign? And all of you together, I mean, 1 or 2 could have gone, but this is something serious. All 6 of you came from the same institution and going together. What is the thing we lack? I mean, why are we not able to hold you back? These guys, they said, you selected us for designing. Sir, you have selected us for designing of vehicles. And the kind of vehicles that you design is absolutely trash. I mean, that person was very, straightforward. And he said, sir, sorry to say, but then the vehicles we design are absolutely, outdated. Look at your portfolio. The latest and the most costly offering that you give to the market is something called an Armada. And you should see, I mean, where the market across the globe has gone, and we are lacking behind. And above everything else, there is no scope for innovative designing in your organization. We don't have any option to design something good. We don't have anything. So Mr. Mahindra was a little upset to hear this, and he said, okay, I mean, I'm sorry that we did not give you an ample opportunity to work here as designers, and what is your plan? Where are you going to go? So these boys were pretty intelligent, and mostly engineers and IT graduates specifically are intelligent. So they said, we are going to Lotus. Lotus is a design house in Italy, if you are aware of it. And that is associated to designing cars for Ferrari and Fiat and very, very big houses, big automobile giants. So it's a very renowned design house for automobiles, Lotus in Italy. So they said, we have an offer, we have applied there, and we have an offer, and we are going to join Lotus. That actually clicked somewhere in the mind of Mr. Mahindra. He said, okay, so you have an opportunity at Lotus, and because you have been selected at Lotus, I mean, you must have shown some talent over there. I'll give you an offer. The offer is, I'll give you rupees 600 crores and a duration of 1 year or two, whatever you feel like having, and you design a vehicle for me. You design a vehicle for me, and that project will be dedicated to you. Nobody from the existing team of designing or engineering will be associated to you. You are going to work as a team, work on the project. Give me a vehicle at the end of the project which is going to change the fate and shape of the automobile sector in India. Now these guys took it up as a challenge. I mean, they said, okay, go ahead, but we are not going to be disturbed. Your interference will not be there. Give us time, give us money, we'll do it. The project started with the name Eagle, ended with the name Scorpio. The vehicle came out, which is called as Scorpio, and Scorpio actually changed the shape and fate of Mahindra and Mahindra, and to a certain extent automobile sector in India. And whatever we see, every second manufacturer in India is jumping to some pseudo kind of SUV design, and the kind of infrastructure and the roads we have in our country are most welcoming to such kind of pseudo SUVs. And that everything started with this project called Eagle, and eventually termed as Scorpio. This particular leadership style, where you trust your teams, where you trust your people and employees, I mean, this is what actually shapes an organization, shapes the structure, shapes the outcome of things that come out. That is what is good, beautiful leadership, wherein you trust the employee with every possible resource, you back up them, you don't interfere into their abilities, you trust that they can do something, and that brings out some immense results, whatever it is. I mean, that is one practice we as academicians should be doing with our students also. We should always trust whenever the student comes with some, untoward idea. And one interesting to the world of academics, there's one interesting aspect I have experienced and I would like to share. If you look at the Indian scenario of education, somebody who's of the age, I mean, 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, is taught a subject called moral science. And he's taught that the ant always climbs up the wall and falls down, and again वो चढ़ती है, फिर गिरती है, बार बार गिरती रहती है, लेकिन वो कभी हार नहीं मानती, और अंत में उसकी जीत हो जाती है और वो दीवार पे चढ़ जाती है. Then we teach him things like कभी झूठ नहीं बोलना चाहिए, हमेशा अच्छे काम करने चाहिए, मेहनत करने से जीवन में सब कुछ मिलता है, सच्चाई का पाथ हमेशा अडिग होता है. These things are taught to people who are 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. And the kind of people that we interact with, the people who are in the age group of 20, 21 to 25 to 30 years, are actually the people who need to know that the ant, if constantly tries and falls and keeps on trying, is definitely going to climb. But at that point of time, no moral science, no such kind of knowledge, such kind of subject education is given to an individual. And what is the result out of it? You can see the cases of mental depression and such kind of things. So much of happening to all these, specifically to these professional education students of management and law and engineering and medical, who are supposed to be the most exceptional and brilliant minds. So this particular problem on number one of our education system is we should be actually teaching those people. A small child of 4 years, what is he going to understand about सच बोलना चाहिए if the entire family is saying कि भाई पापा घर में है और जाके कह दो कि कहीं बाहर गए हुए हैं वो अंकल से, तो what moral science is going to learn? और जिस व्यक्ति को ये मॉरल साइंस मिलनी चाहिए जिस एज में, उस एज में हम उसको थोपते हैं केवल अपने भारी भरकम मार्केटिंग और फाइनेंस और एचआर और दुनिया भर के इंजीनियरिंग के जागरण से. So that particular aspect of education is lacking. Second is, our education system is such that we evaluate an individual on the basis of marks. We always evaluate a person on the basis of mark sheet. A very interesting aspect, I'll tell you, we have a very strong placement cell. And I asked the placement team once that you were asking our students to show the mark sheet of class 10th, and you are asking only 80% and above in class 10th can apply for a particular organization after their MBA in the third year or third semester or fourth semester. Why is it so? What sense does the class 10th mark sheet make here? Or the 12th mark sheet should be above 90%. What significance does it have for an MBA graduate? They said, sir, the logic behind this, the company says that if a person was good in 10th, which is not so important, if the person is so hardworking over there, he or she is going to be excellent in something which is relevant. I said, okay. So you mean that association of the knowledge that we give in a university or college or institution is what is applied in a job, which is not the case. What we learn in a book is not exactly what we learn on the road, on the market. It is very different. So the evaluation of individuals, and what happens is, if you look at the belts of central part of India, something like Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, some parts of Rajasthan, what is the culture? After class 12th, if the student says that I want to start a business, I want to be a businessman, I want to study commerce. Some science students who has got something like 80% in his class 12 comes to his father and says that, okay, I want to study business, I want to study commerce, I want to study accounts, I have interest in that. Or even worse, he says that I want to become a painter, I want to learn music, I want to play guitar, and I want to be a musician, I want to go to Bombay. You can imagine the lightning that will strike the parents. I mean, they will be shocked. For this is what for what we have taught you science and mathematics and physics and chemistry, to become a musician and to become a painter. And even moving on further, if you say that a student of class 4th or class 3rd tells his father, Dad, I want to become an astronaut. Yeah, I want to go to work in films. I mean, don't ask me to burden myself with education. You teach me acting and dancing and fighting, and I'll go and become a film star when I grow up. You can imagine the kind of turmoil that is going to be created. Coming to the belt of Gujarat, अगर वहाँ पे एक बच्चा ये कहता है क्लास 12 पास करने के बाद कि पापा मैं इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ना चाहता हूँ, तो वहाँ पे भी उतनी बड़ी बिजली गिर जाएगी इस बात को सोच करके कि who will run the business if you are going to study engineering? So what we are imposing on our children is, we are imposing upon them some wrong concepts of success, because of which the 1,000 things that the boy cannot do or the girl cannot do is very well made aware by the parents and the society. The fact that the child and women are never understood and never enhanced by the parents and the society. As a team, we should be aware of this fact that wherever a child comes up to us with a particular aspiration, with a particular dream, do not crush the dream on the basis of the reality that you know life as. Always understand that the person has the capability to do anything, the child has the capability. It is our failures that we impose upon our children. So we should not do that. That is one important aspect of leadership, and everybody of us can have a stake as a leader in front of our families and members that we interact with. And we should always welcome such absurd ideas children have. Just don't categorize them as absurd and see what miracle a child can do. One small input from my side, coming back to the issue. Okay, so we discussed how Mr. Mahindra spotted talent, and that requires some intuition and experience and some gut feeling. Now the 600 crore rupees that he gave could have... somebody wants to say something? Should I proceed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. The 600 rupees that he played a gamble upon could have gone down the drain. They could have not done anything and wasted the entire money, but it was his intuition, his gut feeling that he bet that particular young team of 6 people, and he got such a brilliant result out of it. And that is what is the moral, that one should be having some ability to spot talent, and everybody has a talent. I mean, you should look at what the positive aspect of an individual is as a team leader. There are certain misconceptions we have about good leadership. First is being extrovert. We always think that people who are extrovert, who are very outgoing, who are very talkative, and they are the kind of people who are going to be good leaders because they dominate a particular scenario, which is a very, very serious misconception. A leader has to be a silent player. The most silent and observant player of the team is actually the leader. Because in his presence, the basic definition, if it says that the people should grow in your presence and outlive that particular learning even if you're not there. So that particular objective of leadership is a misconception that extrovertness and outgoingness is a very good trait of leadership, which is not. Good communication skills. As a good communicator is always a good leader. That is the case. People who are very silent, people who are not so talkative, people who are not well versed in communication also excel. I mean, in particular case, Mukesh Ambani is one of the most introvert corporate giants that you could have ever seen. There are people like Jeff Bezos and all who are extrovert. I accept that. But there are people like Mr. Mukesh Ambani, who's a very introvert person. Even if you look at his family outings in page 3s, you will see his wife dominating the particular scenario of photo sessions compared to him. And this is how his company runs. He's always at the background and he's always observing, but he's never a good communicator. And if you look at him talking, you can understand the kind of communication that he does. So that does not fall into the category of a good leadership. Then best performers are the best leaders. That's again a very serious misconception. Our concept of results and outcomes and objective fulfillment have given us this misconception that somebody who's performing well in an organization is a good leader. So that these 3, 4, 5 issues should be understood. Okay, going forward. How do we develop it? I mean, how teams are developed? Teams have the great ability to be created, organized, relocated, and dispersed. As I said, if you look at a group of people who are into the business of construction, the masons, the laborers, the architects, the engineers, they are a group of people who are excellent in construction of something. They can construct a building. Once it is done, they move forward and join together as a team to build something else. And then once that is done, they move forward to achieve something else. Similarly, for a particular objective of an organization, some team is created, some new product launch, sales and marketing team is created who have already outshined themselves with some other products, and they are brought in to for enhance the sales and marketing of a particular product. They do it and move forward to something. So the basic trait of team development is it has a beautiful ability of being created, selection of the members, being organized, who does what is the order, what is the working pattern, what is the role, and relocated and dispersed whenever and whatever is required out of the team as an objective. Then it enhances the individual abilities, efficiencies, and performance through synergies. If the rabbit and the tortoise can sometimes climb on the back of each other whenever it is required and create a synergy, that whether it is water, whether it is land, whatever comes, we are going to win. If that can be done by a set of people who are fall into the category of animals, you can imagine what people can do as teams. So, if we have some trust and faith on the members of the team, we are into an having some support system, complementing. These kind of things should be. I mean, I have one particular faith that I have is, I mean, every individual, you know, whatever is. Okay, so hello.
It's working fine, sir.
Am I audible? Okay, so you can hear me? I mean, I got a message that voice is breaking, so I had to check it once.
Audible, sir. Audible, yes.
Very much audible.
Okay. So we'll go forward. So that support system is the concept of complementing a support system as a team member. See, always have trust on yourself as an individual first. Being a part of the team, that point we are going to discuss in detail later, but I'll just put across it now. Always trust your own abilities first. If you do not trust your own abilities, you are always going to have a distrust on the people you work with. Because if you do not trust yourself, you are always going to have a belief that a particular team member associated with you is going to outshine you. वो आपसे अच्छा करके दिखा देगा और आपसे आगे बढ़ जाएगा किसी point of time में during the activity. So the foremost thing that one should have is trust your own abilities, have faith in your own competency first. And if you have it, you are never going to have a distrust on somebody you are working with as a team. क्योंकि आपको पता है कि मेरी काबिलियत तो सबसे ऊपर है ही है, वो definitely enhance होती है अगर मैं किसी और के संग associate करता हूँ as a team. So that particular support system and complementing arises from the very pillar of faith that you have on your own self. Now, the structure of the team is defined or comes out if we have some understanding of the formation process. Now, what is the formation process of the team? Okay, so there are certain stages, we all have heard it, so I'll not be elaborating it so extensively, but just run through them. There are 4 stages of team development. The first stage is forming, wherein, for example, I'll take examples which are relevant to us. For example, as a teacher, want to create some team of students who play basketball. So I'll go to the class and I'll ask people, okay, who all are you in basketball playing? And you raise your hand, some 12, 13, 14 people raise their hands, and I ask them to come out and I make a team. That particular process of the first time members joining together, coming to know each other is called as forming, where the basic definition of the goal and mission is given to them. I'll tell them that we have a particular match with the students of IIT BHU or IMS BHU or law faculty or arts faculty. And the definition of the goal is defined. It is freezed over there. Members first time join together for fulfillment of that particular goal. They try to know each other, they understand each other, define their boundaries. Okay, you are good at the net, somebody is good at the backside, somebody is good at shoot, somebody is good at the throw. So accordingly, everybody's role and definition activity set is going to be defined, and the team formations reaches the stage 1. At the stage 2, the process is called as storming. As the very word itself has a storm in it, it creates some differences, conflicts, diversity. Diversity in the sense, I don't like the kind of t-shirt that a particular team member is wearing. I don't like the kind of extrovertness somebody is showing. I don't like the kind of behavior somebody is having. These issues come up in the second stage when team members interact more and more with each other and try to perform the particular act or achieve the particular objective. It results into what? Disagreement. I am not going to play with somebody who wears a red color lower. Some student will raise up like this, okay, I am not going to play with the team which says that we are going to play only at 10 a.m. I get up at 6 and I will only play at 6. I'm not going to play at 10 a.m. because it is very bright and sunny and it is better we play in the morning. So I'm not going to play. Disagreement. And finally resulting into dropouts. Some members will say, I am not going to be a part of the team because not exactly they are not fit in terms of competency or some role issues. They are not fit into the general concept and the criteria that the particular team is going to create. For example, the students from IIT Kharagpur were not finding themselves fitting into the kind of role that was given to them. It was not that they were the only 6 people working in Mahindra. There were thousands of people working in Mahindra who were very much in agreement with the concepts of the company, who were very happy with the organization. But these 6 had very different ideas. That resulted into some kind of a disagreement, and eventually drop out. So these things happen in the stage of storming. To check it, you as team leader or somebody who is part of the team should have the ability of control and communication. You should be able to bind them together. You should be able to control them. You should be able to understand what is the point of difference. You should be able to come out with some solution to the difference, like Mr. Mahindra had done, and had retained these people on the basis of the very core strength that they had of abilities. He saw the spark in those individuals, and in his mind somewhere he would have thought that these people are indispensable in terms of talent, and they are going to lead me to something which is, going to change the fortune. So that kind of control, communication, confidence is required when the team reaches the stage 2 of storming. Then we come to the stage of norming, where eventually the team has settled down with each other, not exactly with the objective. The objective is still going on, but the members have settled into their differences. The crests and the troughs, the ऊंच नीच जितनी चीजें हैं वो सब settle हो चुकी हैं. Members एक दूसरे के similarities देखना शुरू कर चुके हैं. They have adapted to the culture of the team. They have adapted to each other as members. There is a cohesion, there is a bonding between them. Conflicts have resolved whatever issues earlier they had, that the whole team is going to go out for some activity together apart from their basic process of playing a match, some get-togethers, going to a movie. These kind of things start happening, and the team settle down with each other. The differences settle down, and what initially was an I, one particular member, converts into we as a team. Now the points of conflict where are you going, some friend of the team member says that, okay, let us go for a movie. So he will say, no, I am not going to go because we are going to have a match. So the we starts dominating the I when we come into the stage of norming. वहां पे ग्रुप अपनी कोर स्ट्रेंथ पे आ जाता है और अपने ऑब्जेक्टिव को अचीव करने के लिए पूर्ण रूप से तैयार हो जाता है. Then comes the stage of performing, where you as a team are in the straight line with the objective, and you are going to proceed further. Well versed with the roles, well versed with the responsibilities. You know which player is going to stand where, what strength somebody has. Everybody tries to complement. कोई weakness है किसी के अंदर तो उसके बगल वाला खिलाड़ी इसको पूरा करने लगता है. ये सारी एक्टिविटी शुरू हो जाती हैं. People exercise self-control. They do not try to highlight their differences. They do bring out only the best in the other players also. They trust their own abilities also. जिसका नतीजा ये होता है कि प्रोडक्टिविटी एंड परफॉर्मेंस बढ़ जाता है टू अचीव द इंटेंडेड ऑब्जेक्टिव. सो रनिंग थ्रू दीज 4 स्टेजेस इज ऑलवेज द पार्ट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ अ टीम. और इसको अगर किसी इनऑर्गेनिक तरीके से कॉन्स्टिट्यूट कर दिया जाए, जैसे कि मैं ये कहूँ कि मुझे अगर एक बास्केटबॉल की टीम बनानी है अपने क्लास के स्टूडेंट्स की, और मैं ये कहूँगा कि नहीं तुमको खेलना ही है चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, so that is an inorganic method of creating a team, which is going to outburst in some kind of a failure or some kind of a mishap where the objective is going to be eventually defeated. So the organic way is bring those sparking minds together, let them storm, let them settle down, let them norm, and then see them perform. That is what is the process, the different stages of formation of a team. Okay, moving forward. Let's have a look at certain good team traits. What are the good team traits that we should look at? Team traits are clearly communicated goals. Now, this lies into the hands of people who are looking at the team as the upper hand team members maybe, or the team leader. The communication of the goal should be clear and specific. I do not create, nobody is creating a team to, for participation. I want to participate. Nobody wants to participate. Everybody wants to win. So the idea should be very well communicated. There are certain organizations, I can tell you, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल टोयोटा ने अभी मारुति के संग टाई अप किया है, जिसमें कि टोयोटा ने ये डिसाइड किया है कि देयर आर सर्टेन सेट ऑफ व्हीकल्स दैट मारुति ऑलरेडी प्रोड्यूसेस which are going to be rebadged in the brand of Toyota. For example, they took up the Baleno, which is produced by Maruti, and they rebadged it as Glanza. Similarly, they have taken this Vitara Brezza and they have rebadged it something like some vehicle, Urban Cross or something called Urban Cross from the brand Toyota. Now, the teams that work together, I mean, the teams created for such kind of collaborations are very well communicated in terms of the goals. Goals are what? We do not have to capture or we do not have to erode the market of the parent organization. We have to create a niche out of two products which are almost similar, almost 95% similar in their structure, in their engineering, in their structure, in the engine, in the performance, in the ergonomics and everything. So the team that does the work on those vehicles has to be very well communicated of what the objective of creating. If the objective is wrongly done, what Toyota team will do, they will try to penetrate into the domain of Maruti and try to kill their particular product, which is actually the parent product of their own company. And that is going to create a serious turmoil and even result into breaking of this collaboration. So such kind of miscommunication should not be there. It should be very well communicated. Competent members. We do not create teams out of our relationships. We do not create teams out of our family members. We do not create teams out of our friends because we are intended to a particular objective as a team. Teams are not made for socializing. So for the purpose, they should be very well competent. They should be having the particular set of abilities. They should have the competency to do that. So that particular thing has to be observed. Then collaborative climate. When Tata took over Chorus, there was a very serious concern about the working culture differences. There was a very serious problem that Chorus, being a European entity, was having a very different work culture compared to what Tata Steel had. And the environment, the culture, the market scenario, the work ethics and people were very different. But even if you look at the way they have merged these two organizations, or for example, Tata and Jaguar Land Rover, the way they have merged these two organizations is immaculate in terms of collaboration as a climate of the organization. So to create such kind of smooth transition, such kind of smooth takeover, such kind of smooth joint functioning, the collaborative climate has to be there, and that comes from the top-notch leadership of the organization. Then standards of excellence. I mean, it should not be absurd. You do whatever you think is good for me also. Is not exactly a good standard. The standard is well defined. If I say that 100 kilograms of weight is heavy, it is a standard. If I say that 80 kilograms of weight is good, it is good enough. So the standard has to be very well laid out. And similarly, in terms of performance also, you must be knowing that Taylor had given this concept of fixing a wage of an individual at the very outset of the Industrial Revolution based on the number of units produced. So we define a standard worker on the basis of the such n number of units if produced by a person in a given particular climate, given particular environment with all the facilities is what is a standard production. And based on that standard production, the amount of emolument given to the person is called as a standard wage. Similarly, for the case of performance, similarly for the case of achievement of objective, the team should be given well laid out standards of excellence. This is what is a good standard. This is what is a bad performance. This is what is not expected from you. So these things should be, I mean, very well laid out. Support and recognition. We as in our Indian culture are very क्या कहना चाहिए, हम लोग बहुत कंजूस हैं इस मामले में कि हम लोग किसी की तारीफ नहीं करते हैं. तो हमारा कल्चर ये कहता है कि तारीफ करने से लोगों का दिमाग खराब हो जाता है. So we always restrain ourselves from recognition. We always restrain ourselves from praising. We always restrain ourselves from saying that, okay, something went wrong, I am there to support you. Don't worry, I'll be there. So these kind of activities should be learned, and we as academicians should promote it, that whenever possible, as a member of the team, as a leader of the team, always try to support and recognize some good effort done by somebody. Principled leadership. You cannot imagine a leader. You cannot imagine a leader to be, for example, a captain of the team, to come to a practice session 2 hours after the team has reached the ground. You cannot imagine that to happen, because if it happens for 3 to 4, 5 days, the team is going automatically in the particular mind that person is the most careless individual and has been given the role of captain or given the role of a coach. So the leader is somebody who has to come 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes before the team members arrive at the ground for practice. Similar applies to organizations, similar applies to academic institutions, similar applies to all institutions where the leader has to practice and display what he or she is trying to preach. So principles laid out by the leader are actually the principles which the team is going to follow. If you want your team to win, you have to show the ability to win. You have to show the traits of a winner first as leaders, then expect the team members to follow. Calculated risk-taking atmosphere. Now, risk is a very interesting term. I mean, we, as in the field of business, academician, we always say risk से बचना चाहिए. Risk बहुत खतरनाक चीज होता है, और risk अगर हो जाएगा तो फिर आपको काम में खतरा हो जाएगा. आप कोई भी बढ़िया काम करने का सोचिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू वांट टू स्टार्ट अ बिजनेस, और सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम क्या आता है कि रिस्की बहुत है. रिस्की बहुत रिस्की है. रिस्की. व्हाट इज रिस्क? व्हाट इज रिस्क? आई मीन, रिस्क जो है वो ये है कि, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैं आपको एक बिजनेस एग्जाम्पल से ही बताता हूँ व्हाट रिस्क इज. And there is a farmer, and the farmer has there is a match. We teach the concept of game theory, and in that we have two players. One player is a farmer, the second player is the environment. पहला जो player है farmer, और जो दूसरा player है environment, उसके खिलाफ जो खड़ा है, इन दोनों के अपने पास कुछ रणनीतियां हैं, some strategies. They have their individual strategies. अब क्या strategies है environment के पास? Environment के पास, for example, 4 strategy. Okay, something which is not predictable. Now I'll come to that. I'll explain you, Revati ji. So just wait, I'm coming to what you have said. So the environment, player number 2, has got some strategies, कुछ रणनीतियां. For example, क्या? बहुत ज़्यादा बारिश हो जाए, moderate rainfall, कम रेनफॉल और सूखा पड़ जाए. ये 4 ऐसी स्ट्रेटजीज हैं जो कि एनवायरनमेंट जो है वो कर सकता है फार्मर के ऊपर, राइट? 4 strategies the environment has got. The farmer also has got 4 counter strategies to these 4 strategies. वो क्या है? अगर बहुत ज्यादा बारिश हो गई, बाढ़ आती है, तो उसके पास कोई चारा नहीं है सिवाय उस साल वो पैसे बचा ले, क्योंकि वो कोई भी फसल लगा नहीं सकता. दूसरी, अच्छी रेनफॉल में वो कुछ ऐसी चीजें पैदा करे जिनमें पानी की जरूरत ज्यादा होती हो, या फॉर एग्जांपल भगवान की कृपा से अगर उस साल धान की फसल वो लगा देगा तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा. वो कुछ ऐसी सब्जियां लगाए जो बहुत कम पानी में भी सर्वाइव कर जाए, उस तरह की पैदावार कर ले. और बहुत सूखा पड़ने, should sure that if somehow or the other he should have some access to some kind of a water supply system, किसी नलकूप से या किसी के पंप हाउस से या कहीं से कुछ टाई अप करे, otherwise he is not going to survive. He also has strategies. अब 3 तरह के बिजनेस एनवायरनमेंट होते हैं. पहला वो जबकि फार्मर को ये ना पता हो कि एनवायरनमेंट मेरे साथ क्या क्या करेगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, द फार्मर डज नॉट इवन नो that the environment can have 4 strategies like heavy rainfall and moderate rainfall, low rainfall and drought. ये ना पता हो, उसको हम कहते हैं uncertainty. और दूसरा जो बिजनेस एनवायरनमेंट है वो उसका बिल्कुल ऑपोजिट है, जिसको हम कहते हैं सर्टेनिटी. उसमें क्या होता है, फार्मर को ये तो पता है कि वो क्या क्या 4 चीजें मेरे साथ कर सकता है, लेकिन उसको ये भी पता हो साथ साथ कि उन चारों के होने की प्रोबेबिलिटी क्या है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, 30% चांस ऑफ हैवी रेनफॉल, 5% चांस ऑफ मॉडरेट रेनफॉल, 20 to 30% चांस ऑफ लो रेनफॉल एंड रिमेनिंग 30 or 20% ऑफ ड्रॉट, सूखा पड़ने की 20%. अगर उसको ये भी पता है तो हम इसको कहते हैं सर्टेनिटी. एंड द मोस्ट ब्यूटीफुल थिंग अबाउट दीज 2 बिजनेस एनवायरनमेंट इज that these 2 business environments are imaginary. They are not real. They do not exist. ना तो हमें ये मतलब हम अगर प्लेन पकड़ के अमेरिका जा रहे हैं तो हमें ये नहीं पता कि की हमारे संग क्या क्या हो सकता है, ऐसा नहीं होता। लेकिन हमको ये भी नहीं, इतना भी नहीं ज्यादा पता होता कि हमारी जो व्हीकल हमको लेने आ रही है वो क्या एग्जैक्ट टाइम पे वहां पे खड़ी होगी, जिस होटल में हमको जाना है उसका कमरा कितना बड़ा होगा, हमारी मीटिंग जो होनी है वो कितने बजे होगी, और क्या क्या इशू, हमें हर चीज भी नहीं पता होती। तो सर्टेनिटी और अनसर्टेनिटी दोनों इमेजिनरी हैं। केवल एक बीच का एनवायरनमेंट ही ऐसा है जो कि एक्चुअली रियल है, और वो पता क्या है, वो ये है कि फार्मर को सिर्फ यही पता होगा कि एनवायरनमेंट कर क्या क्या सकता है। और आपको जान के बड़ा आश्चर्य होगा कि उसी एनवायरनमेंट को रिस्क कहा जाता है। दैट पर्टिकुलर एनवायरनमेंट विच इज रियल इज रिस्क। आपके उस सर के ऊपर जो पंखा चल रहा है वो आज तक गिरा नहीं है कभी, लेकिन ये भी नहीं कहीं लिखा है पुराणों में कि वो कभी गिर नहीं सकता। आप जिस सड़क पे चल रहे हैं उस सड़क पे सामने वाली गाड़ी की स्टीयरिंग बिल्कुल ठीक है, वो आपके बगल से ही जाएगी, लेकिन ये कहीं नहीं लिखा है कि वो स्टीयरिंग का फ्लूइड अचानक उसका वो पंप फट जाए और स्टीयरिंग फेल हो जाए और आपके ऊपर आ जाए। जब ये हो सकता है तो हम बिजनेस में ही इतना क्यों डराते और डरते हैं? Why are we so afraid and why do we make people so afraid out of doing business? That is the reason people don't do business in our particular central India belt. हम उनको रिस्क के नाम पे इतना डराते रहते हैं। कोई अगर हमसे कहता है कि हम उद्यमिता करना चाहते हैं, आई वांट टू बिकम एन एंटरप्रेन्योर, आर यू मैड? यू आर गोइंग टू टेक लोन, यू आर गोइंग टू इन्वेस्ट ऑल माय सेविंग्स, यू आर गोइंग टू वेस्ट ऑल द मनी। इस तरह के इनपुट के साथ वो आदमी मार्केट में जाएगा और 2 साल के बाद अपना बैंकरप्ट हो जाएगा, सारी जमीन जायदाद उसकी जब्त हो जाएगी बैंक में। ये हम उसको मोटिवेशन दे रहे हैं क्या? और क्यों दे रहे हैं? क्योंकि बिजनेस करना रिस्की है। सड़क पे चलना नहीं है, हवाई जहाज में बैठना रिस्की नहीं है, लेकिन सड़क पे चलना है, लेकिन बिजनेस करना रिस्की है। अब आप ये समझे कि हम इस वर्ड रिस्क का कितना गलत इस्तेमाल करते हैं। यही एक रियल एनवायरनमेंट है हमारे चारों तरफ, यही एक रियल एनवायरनमेंट है जो एग्जिस्ट करता है हमारे चारों तरफ, चाहे वो जीवन हो या व्यापार। और हम इसी के नाम पे सबको डराते रहते, रिस्की है, रिस्की है, रिस्की है, रिस्की है। हम घर में सोते हैं वो उतना ही रिस्की है जितना कि हम एक 1000 सीसी की मोटरसाइकिल लेके फुल स्पीड पे अगर हाईवे पे दौड़ाने लगे तो ये दोनों मेरिट बराबर है। जितना वहां फेल होने की पॉसिबिलिटी है उतनी ही पॉसिबिलिटी हमारे संग कोई दुर्घटना सोते समय होने की थी। और आज पिछले 4-6 महीने में दुनिया के साथ जो हो रहा है उसने तो हमारे ज्ञान चक्षु खोल दिए हैं रिस्क के बारे में। रिस्क वो चीज है जो कि धरती फाड़ के पैदा हो जाएगी, हमें पता भी नहीं चलेगा। हमने कुछ नहीं किया तो भी वो पैदा हो जाएगा। और हम इसके पहले जब सब कुछ सुनिश्चित और सुनियोजित ढंग से चलता था, देन वी यूज्ड टू फियर द वर्ड रिस्क। यू कैन इमेजिन कितना ज्यादा गलत इंटरप्रिटेशन हम लोग करते हैं इस शब्द रिस्क का। सो कैलकुलेटेड रिस्क लेना चाहिए। आई डोंट से दैट people should throw money into business and take all these absurd decisions. No, कैलकुलेटेड रिस्क। रतन टाटा की जेब में 2 रुपए थे और उन्होंने 7 रुपए की चीज खरीदी थी जब कोरस को वो खरीदने गए थे, और वो रिस्क ले रहे थे 5 रुपए का जो कि मार्केट से उठाए गए थे। तो लेकिन रिस्क लिया क्यों? क्योंकि कैलकुलेशन इसके पहले वो कर चुके थे। अगर मैं नंबर 27-28 का स्टील मेकर हूं और मुझे नंबर 5 पे जाना है ग्रीन फील्ड अप्रोच से, ग्रीन फील्ड अप्रोच मतलब नया प्लांट लगाइए, ग्रीन फील्ड खरीदिए, वहां प्लांट लगाइए, लोहा बनाइए, फिर दूसरा खेत खरीदिए, वहां पे प्लांट लगाइए, लोहा बनाइए। अगर मैं ऐसे चलूंगा तो 450 सालों के बाद मैं दुनिया का 5वां स्टील मेकर बन जाऊंगा। लेकिन अगर मैं इसको खरीदता हूं तो मैं एक झटके में 5वें नंबर पे पहुंच जाऊंगा। रिस्क तो था लेकिन कैलकुलेशन पूरी तरह से सही थी। वहीं पे हमारे उन एक्सपर्ट्स की सहायता ली जाती है जो कि स्टैटिस्टिक्स और ऑपरेशन रिसर्च में अपने आप को महारथी कहते हैं। वो हेलो,
You continue, sir. Please continue. There was a new participant.
okay,
You continue. New participant joined. Okay, so there may.
Okay. So I was discussing. Okay, हाँ. तो ये जो सब्जेक्ट एक्सपर्ट्स होते हैं, पीपल फ्रॉम स्टैटिस्टिक्स, पीपल फ्रॉम ऑपरेशन रिसर्च, दे गिव यू एन इमेजिनरी पिक्चर ऑफ द एंटायर आउटकम ऑफ योर रिस्क बेस्ड डिसीजन। हम कहते हैं ना डिसीजन मेकिंग, यही डिसीजन मेकिंग होती है। व्हाट इज गूगल? गूगल इज अ डिसीजन मेकिंग टूल। हमको वो एक हमारा डिसीजन मेकिंग में हेल्प करने वाला टूल है। वैसे ये सारे सब्जेक्ट्स हैं मैनेजमेंट में और कॉमर्स में और इंडस्ट्री में, वो हमको बिना पैसा लगाए ये बताते हैं कि लगाने के बाद क्या होगा। उसी को हम कहते हैं कैलकुलेटेड रिस्क, और वो लेना चाहिए। That should be taken. That is one good team trait. Then not ignoring dissenting opinions. मतलब अगर हमें अपने किसी भी विचार और निर्णय के बारे में ना सुनने की या उसके नुकसानों को या उसकी नेगेटिविटी को सुनने की आदत नहीं है, तो हम एक अच्छे टीम मेंबर या अच्छे टीम लीडर नहीं बन सकते। एज टीचर्स, उस बालक की या उस बालिका की सबसे ज्यादा तारीफ होनी चाहिए जो हमारे सामने खड़ा होकर हमको ये कह सके कि सर ये जो आप कंसेप्ट कह रहे हैं इसका दूसरा पहलू भी हो सकता है, शायद ये है। Instead of firing and asking the person to get lost for the whole semester, we should always encourage such people ki okay, you please explain what you want to say and maybe I will also learn some new concept out of what you are saying. Because of our inherent fear कि ये कह देने से हम एक स्थापित अध्यापक या अध्यापिका से के पदस्थान से नीचे गिर जाएंगे। अगर हम ये माने कि हम इस क्षेत्र में सीखने के लिए आए हैं, तो हमेशा ये चीज हमको एक अच्छा शिक्षक ही बना के देगी। तो डिसेंटिंग ओपिनियंस को टीम्स में हमेशा वेलकम करना चाहिए। मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूं कि हर नेगेटिव ओपिनियन को आप सुनने और उस पर विचार करें, लेकिन अपने ऑपोजिशन की जो चीज वैलिड है, जो चीज ऑब्जेक्टिव है, उसको सिरे से नकारना भी नहीं चाहिए। देन रियलिस्टिक डेडलाइंस ऑलवेज एसोसिएटेड विद टीम्स इज अ वर्ड कॉल्ड डेडलाइन। टीम जो है वो फॉरएवर के लिए कोई काम नहीं कर सकती। यू डू दिस टिल द टाइम यू वांट टू डू। नो, द टाइमलाइंस आर वेरी वेल स्पेसिफिक एंड लेड आउट. So be sticking to those deadlines. So these are certain traits that a good team should always have. Then groups and relationships. Okay, now coming to the word group. Group by definition includes at least 3 people. अब आप समझिए कि हम लोग हमेशा कहते हैं one is alone individual, 2 is company, 3 is a group. What about 4? What about 5? भीड़ भाड़ उसको क्या कहेंगे? और ग्रुप वहीं से शुरू होता है। 3+ की संख्या जब हम लेते हैं, that is what we define as a group. So you can imagine the kind of complexity we are going to enter into when we say we are talking about groups. There are 2 types of groups based on the degree to which the groups meet our interpersonal needs. Now, falling into the degree of requirement an individual has, we can categorize groups into 2 types. One is the primary group, which meets most, if not all, of one's needs. That is family, friends, and society. ये वो लोग हैं, जैसे कि हम लोग पहले भी समझ चुके हैं, group is something which we do not, choose. It is something that is that comes up as an association. A group constitutes itself out of our social existence and necessities. So मतलब जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल MBA में जो एडिशन एक बच्चा लेता है, तो वो ये नहीं सोचता है कि मैं केवल मिजोरम में रहने वाले बच्चों के साथ MBA पढ़ूंगा। नो, ही कैन नॉट डिसाइड और शी कैन नॉट डिसाइड। वो ये नहीं सोच सकता कि मैं सिर्फ दिल्ली में रहने वालों के साथ MBA करूंगा। उसके साथ पूरे देश से, हो सकता है पूरे विश्व से पढ़ने वाले लोग बैठ जाएं उस क्लास में आके। तो वो एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऐसा है जिसको ग्रुप में हम चूज नहीं कर सकते। तो पहली कैटेगरी वो ग्रुप्स की है जिनको हम कहते हैं प्राइमरी, which meets most of our requirements, if not all of our needs and requirements. जिसमें फैमिली आती है जो कि हम कभी चूज नहीं कर सकते, फ्रेंड्स आते हैं जो कि हम धीरे धीरे बनाते चले जाते हैं और जिससे हमारी मैपिंग लंबे समय तक रहती है, वो हमारे फ्रेंड की कैटेगरी में आ जाता है। मैं फेसबुक और व्हाट्सएप के फ्रेंड्स की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं फ्रेंड्स की बात कर रहा हूँ। एंड सोसाइटी, देन सेकेंडरी ग्रुप, इट मीट्स सम बट नॉट ऑल आवर रिक्वायरमेंट्स। फॉर एग्जाम्पल आवर ऑफिस एनवायरमेंट, हमारे वर्किंग कोलीग्स जो है या वर्क ग्रुप्स जो है, दे फॉल इनटू द सेकंड कैटेगरी। वो हमारी कुछ कम जरूरतें पूरी करते हैं कंपेयर टू आवर प्राइमरी ग्रुप्स, बट दैट इज अ वेरी सीरियस रिक्वायरमेंट दैट हैज टू बी फुलफिल्ड। आप जब अपने घर में बैठे हो और आप एक नई गाड़ी खरीद लें, अपने घर में बढ़िया एशियन पेंट लगवा लेंगे, अपनी दीवारें चमका देंगे, बाहर एकदम बढ़िया रोशनी लगवा देंगे, तो आप सबसे पहले अपने पड़ोसी की तरफ देखेंगे कि भाई देखो तो सही मैं क्या कर रहा हूं। कम से कम तुम आओ, देखो, समझो तो सही। या अपने कोलीग्स के पास जाएंगे ना दिखाने के लिए कि मेरे को नया एक सर्टिफिकेट मिला है, मुझे एक नई डिग्री मिली है, मुझे नया रिकॉग्निशन मिला है, तो वो रिकॉग्निशन की तारीफ आपके घर में नहीं होगी, उसके लिए आपको ऑफिस जाना पड़ेगा, उसके लिए आपके ऐसे लोगों के बीच में जाना पड़ेगा जो आपके इस चीज के महत्व को समझें। उस जगह पे हमारे सेकेंडरी ग्रुप की जरूरत आती है, तो वो हमारा एक दूसरे कैटेगरी में आता है सेकेंडरी। तो ये हमारी इंटरपर्सनल नीड्स के हिसाब से ग्रुप्स को हमने 2 कैटेगरी में डिवाइड किया। सेकेंडरी ग्रुप्स में meet your need for professional acceptance. Somebody passes from class 12, then does engineering, or maybe BSc, BA, and MBA, then PhD, then some doctorate, PDF, and so many degrees are acquired. उसके बाद उसको academic recognition चाहिए, उसको professional acceptance चाहिए। वो कौन देगा? वो मूंगफली वाले, चाय वाले, सड़क पे घूमने वाले, रिक्शा चलाने वालों से नहीं मिलेगा उसको। वो उसको मिलेगा उन्हीं लोगों के बीच में जिनके पास इसी प्रकार की या इस तरह की डिग्रियां होंगी, जो उसके प्रोफेशनली एक्वायर्ड अचीवमेंट्स की तारीफ कर सके, एक्सेप्ट कर सके। उसको उसकी सेकेंडरी ग्रुप की जरूरत पड़ती है टू सेलिब्रेट योर सक्सेस, बट दे मे नॉट मीट योर नीड फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड शेयरिंग ऑन अ पर्सनल लेवल। वो इस बात से उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है कि आप मन में एक्चुअली आप अपनी मदर को थोड़ा मिस कर रहे हैं क्योंकि वो घर पे हैं, या आप अपने बच्चे को लेकर के थोड़ा परेशान हैं, इस बात से उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। उनको आपको दूसरी जो जरूरत है आपकी, जिसमें आप सामाजिक रिकॉग्निशन चाहते हैं, प्रोफेशनल रिकॉग्निशन चाहते हैं, वो वहां पे आप अपना सेलिब्रेट कर सकते हैं अपना सक्सेस। ये प्राइमरी डिफरेंस हो जाता है हमारे सेकेंडरी ग्रुप और प्राइमरी ग्रुप। नाउ फैमिली मेंबर्स may understand you in ways that your co-workers cannot and vice versa. अब आप मुंह लटका के जब अपने घर जाते हैं तो आपके घर वाले आपका मुंह देख के समझ जाएंगे कि आप परेशान हैं, लेकिन आप जब मुंह लटका के अपने ऑफिस जाएंगे, वहां इस बात से किसी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है कि आप क्यों, आपका मुंह लटका हुआ क्यों है, और आपको क्या समस्या है, या आपका सड़क पे झगड़ा हो गया था किसी से, या आपका लोन ज्यादा EMI जो है कट गया है, आप कुछ परेशान हैं, इससे किसी को कोई मतलब नहीं। तो ये जो दोनों ग्रुप्स हैं हमारे, प्राइमरी और सेकेंडरी, जिसमें हम एक तरफ परिवार, समाज और मित्रों को रख रहे हैं प्राइमरी में, और वर्किंग में अपने जो है कोलीग्स को, ऑफिसेस को, वर्क ग्रुप्स को रख रहे हैं, इन दोनों का रोल बहुत ही अलग लेकिन उतना ही प्रभावशाली और इम्पोर्टेंट है हमारे जीवन में। तो ये हमारी 2 तरह की ग्रुप्स और उनके 2 तरह की हमारी रिलेशनशिप्स की बात हो गई। इंटरेक्शन इन अ ग्रुप। One person may involve intrapersonal communication, while 2 may constitute interpersonal communication.
Sir, I'm just interrupting for 1 minute.
Yeah.
Thing is that we have to give some lunch break to our participants.
Okay.
And this is supposed to be finished by 3:30 or 1:30.
Okay.
If you kindly conclude in short, okay, that will be helpful.
How much time are you giving me? You tell me, I'll do that.
5 minutes, 10 minutes maximum.
No, don't bother me. I'll if you want, I'll do it in 5 minutes also. आप जो मुझे दे देंगे, I'll accept it.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
So I have 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. अब इसमें बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग सी बात यह है कि एक आदमी अपने मन में जो बात करता है, जिसको हम इंट्रापर्सनल कम्युनिकेशन कहते हैं, वो अपने जीवन में सबसे ज्यादा करते हैं हम लोग, सबसे ज्यादा। हर कोई करता है, मतलब मैं अलग नहीं हूं, आप अलग नहीं, एवरीबॉडी डज दैट। वी डू द मैक्सिमम टॉकिंग विद आवर ओन सेल्फ्स, मैक्सिमम। और जब हम 2 में आ जाते हैं तो हम उसको इंटरपर्सनल कहने लगते हैं। फिर उसके बाद हमारे पास 3, 4 में आप समझ लीजिए कि क्या संख्या कहां से कहां पहुंच जाते हैं। अब ये 2 व्यक्ति जो आपस में बात करें, दे मे बी प्रेजेंट विद इन अ ग्रुप कम्युनिकेशन कंटेक्स्ट ऑल्सो। दे कैन बी अ पार्ट ऑफ ग्रुप ऑफ 12 people and communicating only between them. That is scenario number 2. The group relationship normally involves 3 to 8 people and the potential for distraction is great. Distraction उसमें कम्युनिकेशन का भयंकर हो सकता है। मैं आपको इस कम्युनिकेशन के डिस्ट्रैक्शन पे एग्जांपल बताने वाला, थोड़ा लंबा है तो मैं उसको नहीं बताता हूं, लेकिन अगर आप भीड़ भाड़ में बात करते हैं तो मैसेज का जो आदान प्रदान है या जो विचार है वो कितना डिस्टॉर्ट हो जाएगा, आप समझ सकते हैं ना। ग्रुप नॉर्म्स आर कस्टम्स, ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है। ग्रुप नॉर्म्स आर कस्टम्स। क्या ग्रुप नॉर्म्स कस्टम है? अगर आप फेसबुक पे रोज अपनी एक पोस्ट डालते हैं जिसपे आपके सारे मित्र कुछ ना कुछ लिखते हैं, और आपने उसके बाद किसी समय में 3 दिन तक नहीं डाला, तो आपने उस सारे बड़े से ग्रुप के एक नॉर्म को तोड़ दिया है जिसमें आपको रोज कुछ ना कुछ डालना। सो एवरी पर्टिकुलर सेट ऑफ एक्टिविटी एन इंडिविजुअल डज विद अ ग्रुप बिकम्स अ कस्टम। तो जो भी नॉर्म्स हम ग्रुप में फॉलो, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल हम घर में अगर अपने बच्चों के लिए चॉकलेट लेकर रोज जाते हैं और सालों से ले जा रहे हैं, तो जिस दिन आप नहीं लेके जाते हैं वो आपने ग्रुप का एक नॉर्म को तोड़ा है। इसको हम कहते हैं ग्रुप नॉर्म्स किस लेवल पे आकर के इंटरपर्सनल रिलेशनशिप में वो कस्टम बन जाते हैं, रिवाज बन जाते हैं, एक ट्रेडिशन बन जाता है। आपके फेसबुक पे बहुत सारे मित्र हो सकते हैं, बट हाउ मेनी डू यू रेगुलरली कम्युनिकेट विथ? दैट इज वन इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग टू बी अंडरस्टूड अबाउट इंटरेक्शंस इन ग्रुप। आपको मैं एक फिगर दिखाता हूँ, ये देखिए। When the size of the group increases from 2 to 8, the number of possible interaction increases from 2 to 1056. और आप इमेजिन कर लें कि 8 लोगों के बीच में कम्युनिकेशन जब 1056 चैनल पे चल रही है, तो किस लेवल पे इंटरपर्सनल कम्युनिकेशन हो रही होगी, वो कितनी बियॉन्ड इमेजिनेशन डिफिकल्ट हो जाती है और कितना हम अपनी बात को कह पा रहे हैं। Then we have the level of interaction. We always interact with functional और secondary groups. दोनों से हमारी बात होती रहती है। जैसे कि एक स्टूडेंट के लिए प्रोफेसर ऑफ साइकोलॉजी, सोशियोलॉजी में और प्रोफेसर ऑफ फिजिक्स में बहुत बड़ा वर्ल्ड ऑफ डिफरेंस है, बिकॉज दे कम फ्रॉम वेरी डिफरेंट डोमेन ऑफ नॉलेजेस, दे कम फ्रॉम वेरी डिफरेंट फंक्शनल एरियाज, दे कम फ्रॉम वेरी डिफरेंट वर्किंग ग्रुप्स, बट they are part of the same bigger group of the college or the university. They both work in the same university. तो हम एक बड़े से ग्रुप का हिस्सा होते हुए भी छोटे छोटे ग्रुप्स में भी कम्युनिकेट करते हैं। इसका मतलब ये हुआ, in a business the manager has to interact with finance team, the marketing team and every other thing, which is very different in terms of the functional groups, but they fall into the same category of a bigger group, which is the company or the organization. Now, relationships are part of any group, can be described in terms of their status, the power, control, role, function, and viewpoint, and so on. Similarly, for a family, the ties that bind you together may be common experiences. आपने साथ में कुछ समय देखा हो, अच्छा बुरा, साथ साथ कोलैबोरेटिव एफर्ट, एक दूसरे की सहायता की हो, समस्याओं के दौरान और खुशी के दौरान दोनों में, तो वो हमारा एक बॉन्डिंग बनाता है, हमारा लेवल ऑफ इंटरेक्शन डिफाइन करता है। There are certain good principles of good relationships. आपको हमेशा, मैं जैसा कि इसको समराइज करके अगर कहूँ, तो हमेशा ग्रुप और टीम में अगर आपको अच्छा मेंबर या लीडर बनना हो, तो सबसे जरूरी ब्रह्म रूल जो उसमें आता है वो ये है कि आप अपने आप को पहले कॉन्फिडेंट इंडिविजुअल की तरह से देखें। अगर आप ऐसा करते हैं तो ग्रुप में आपका सेटिस्फैक्शन का लेवल, ग्रुप में आपका परफॉर्मेंस का लेवल, आपकी मतलब जिसको हम एक SWL इंडेक्स कहते हैं, जिसको मैं अभी एक्सप्लेन तो नहीं कर पाऊंगा समय की पॉसिटी ऑफ टाइम की वजह से, बट अगर आपका सेटिस्फैक्शन विद लाइफ इंडेक्स अच्छा है तो आप एक बेहतरीन परफॉर्मर हैं एज अ ग्रुप और टीम मेंबर ऑल्सो। Healthy intergroup communication is an outcome of a satisfied and rational group member. With this, I thank you for your patient patient listening. और अगर कोई डाउट हो तो आप प्लीज मुझे बताएं।
Thank you, sir. Sir, are you listening?
Yes. Yes.
Myself, Bidukanti Das, co-coordinator of the program. I thank
Okay.
you that despite your busy schedule, you accepted our request and deliver the lecture. This is helpful for all of our
देखिए मतलब I thank Dr. Amit and you, Dr. Saab, for inviting me, and I hope the session was useful to your participants.
Yes.
That is one thing which I hope for.
Yes, sir, it was very, very useful. And so we will keep in touch in future program also. We will definitely want your cooperation.
Sure. और अब आप लोगों को तुरंत जो है खाना खाने की परमिशन दे दीजिए, क्योंकि अगर मैंने उस टाइम में दखल दिया है 10-11 मिनट का, तो मैं बड़ा सॉरी हूँ उस बात के लिए। जल्दी से लोग खाना खाएं और 3:30 बजे अपना खावा के जल्दी से सेशन अटेंड करें।
Yes, sir, 2:30.
Okay,
And
2:30, okay.
I would like to request all the participants that please you joined at 2:30. A speaker will be Dr. Soumya Singh, Head Department of Management, IIT, IISM, Dhanbad. Okay. She will be on time, so all of you please join on time. Thank you, sir. Namaste, sir.
Thank you. Namaste, Dr. Sir. Namaskar.